With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rants and Raves. I'm Steph Beckett, and in this latest episode, we have Greg Oden from Sennheiser. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. How are you, Steph?
Doing good, doing good. I know we talked a little bit before we started recording when we had a meeting about your wonderful record wall behind you. So before we jump into it, pick a record at random and tell me what you got back there.
Oh gosh, we're gonna do for real record roulette.
Yeah,
This is Quincy Jones's "The Dude."
very nice.
Yeah, we're going straight to the jazz today.
I love it. All right, it's Jazz Thursday, everybody. So
Absolutely.
jazz it.
I'll put that back later.
Well, Greg, before we keep jumping in, talk a little bit about who you are and like what you do at Sennheiser.
Yeah, so again, my name is Greg Oden. I'm a technical applications engineer at Sennheiser. So I don't know what anything costs, but I do know how it works. Primarily, I interface with consultants and integrators and end users trying to solve whatever problems they have and finding solutions that Sennheiser can bring to the front to be able to fix them, right? I've spent my whole life in production or integration or broadcast. And, basically, if you can do it with a microphone, I have done it in the past. So I'll just bring all that to the table here.
Amazing. So we're here to first kind of talk about the latest in the Sennheiser lineup. Do you mind walking me through a few of your latest releases and
Yeah.
talking a little bit about like what integrator challenges that these new releases are solving?
So the product that we're super excited about right now that we introduced at Infocom is the TeamConnect Ceiling Medium Plus, right? Like this is the latest iteration in our ceiling microphone line. And it does solve some unique problems. So our microphones, our ceiling microphones are famous in that you just hang it and it's automatically covering 360 degrees by 180 degrees. It's got that dynamic beam forming that's always looking for who's the loudest speaker in the room, and it reevaluates every 4 milliseconds. And the TCCM Plus is no different, right? What it's doing new is we've given the device access to the IoT, right? So now, if one is so inclined, the microphone can be given access to an internet service provider and then be managed through the cloud, through our device hub platform. So you no longer need an on-prem management software running in order to maintain your inventory. And this is super cool for clients who are maintaining these large inventories across large campuses, right? Whereas previously, that access would be limited by physical networks or VLANs or even buildings. If you've got inventory in various campuses, and with Device Hub, you've got the ability to maintain your inventory, whether it's upstairs or across campus or across the country, right? I mean, the internet has no walls. So previously, our TC Bar S and our TC Bar M have both had access to Device Hub, and now with TCCM Plus, we're bringing the ceiling mic game into that as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. That was a very, very good and I think like very audience specific explanation of what all of those do. About the TCCM Plus and the TCCM, I guess, like what makes those products different from other ceiling microphones on the market?
Yeah, that's a really excellent question. So, what differentiates the TeamConnect ceiling microphones from, say, my second favorite microphone company and their ceiling microphones, right? Um, Traditionally, when you're setting up a ceiling microphone, the first thing you have to do is tell it where to listen, right? You've got to define those listening areas and you've got to set it up specific to the room, which creates a couple of hiccups. Like, for one, now all of a sudden, the guy hanging the microphone and programming it has to be a specialist. He's making real decisions about the design. And those guys exist in the field for sure. But and after that, what happens if the room gets rearranged? What if it's a multi-purpose room? Or what if we have a remodel 6 weeks, 6 months down the road, and all of a sudden those listening zones aren't applicable to the way the room is laid out. With TeamConnect Ceiling, like I said, you just hang it and it's automatically listening 360 by 180 degrees, right? Once you've hung it and unmuted it, you've got the entire space covered evenly, and we're not jumping out with 8 distinct audio ports, right? So you don't need 8 channels of AEC in order to maintain the call. You've just got the one. Now, like I said, you don't have to tell the microphone where to listen, but we do give the opportunity to tell it where to ignore. If you really only want to limit this microphone's coverage to half the space, we do give exclusion zones to be able to do that. So you do have full control over what the mic can and can't listen to. But that's not a decision you have to make right out of the box.
Very cool. So if you pick as long as you pick the model that goes with your room size and one that works, you're not gonna experience any of those, like, random dead zones that we typically find.
Exactly, exactly.
Makes a lot of sense. So you kind of walked through Device Hub a little bit earlier, but let's kind of talk about this a little more.
Mhm,
So, for an AV IT tech manager,
mhm.
most ones who are at universities or schools, they're in like a hybrid situation a lot of the time where not only students are kind of half joining from home and half joining, but sometimes they're working from home and they're able to kind of check in on how things are going if when they're off campus. Where does Device Hub kind of fit into the way that we are kind of viewing management right now of all of our tech on a campus like this?
And that really is the big thing that we're trying to solve with Device Hub, right? So historically within Sennheiser, we would use a control cockpit, which, like I said, is an on-prem software. You've got to have a server running on the network, and any device, any Sennheiser device that's within IP range automatically gets brought in. But there are walls to that. It's got to be within IP range. So you're limited to VLANs, you're limited to the network management, and again, you're limited to that physical network. Now, there are lots of campuses that manage large inventories using that, and they've just figured out ways to work around the inherent limitations of an on prem software. With Device Hub, like I said, as long as each device has access to the IoT, then you can manage and see and control each of those devices from literally anywhere in the world. I've got one instance of Device Hub where I have my 2 devices here at my home office that I'm working with, and 2 devices that are in Connecticut at the Connecticut office, and 2 devices that are in the Sydney offices down in Australia. And from where I sit, it really doesn't matter if I need to update that one down in Sydney. It's no harder than doing the one in the next room.
That's really awesome. And let's kind of talk and like pivot because we've talked a little bit about integrators. We've talked about those technical AVIT end users, but let's talk about those non-technical end users who are going to be probably the people who are functioning and coming across the wireless solutions mostly day to day.
Mhm.
Ease of use is really important there because a lot of the people who are using that type of tech are going to be your teachers. They're going to be your CEOs. They're going to be the people who don't listen to this day in, day out and don't know a ton about like what the tech is that they're walking into. They just want it to work. So, how does Sennheiser have to address this across the product portfolio?
Absolutely. The analogy that I like to use with our engineering team on the product level is these end users expect the microphone to be a toaster. Push button, get toast. That's all it has to do, and it's as deeply as they care about it. So we've got to get a microphone to a point to where it is push button, get sound, right? And we're able to achieve this pretty cleanly with several of our wireless lines. Speech line digital wireless is one where since it all is self-managing in the decked range, if you hang it, you mostly don't have to mess with it because it's going to self-heal if it starts getting hits and stuff. So that's ideal for those higher ed and those corporate areas where you've got non-technical people in the space, right? The microphone can live in its charger, and when you pick it up, it's automatically going to connect, it's automatically going to transmit, and it can go downstream to whatever management they've got in line. Likewise with our EWDX lines, where we've got goosenecks on table stands and handhelds and labs and all the things that you're used to having, but with very, very robust RF schemes, right? So while there is definitely some RF knowledge in the setup, ease of use is as simple as, again, pull it out of the transmitter, click it on, and run down the road with it. Um, we've just released in the last year our Spectera wireless, which is a very new way of managing the RF, and it's ideal for those very, very dense RF spectrums. Think very busy metropolitan areas, the New Yorks, the Bostons, and here in Texas, the Dallases, right? Where there's just not a huge amount of spectrum for managing a whole campus worth of RF. We've been able to create a situation where we can do 32 channels of microphones into a single 6 megahertz wide RF channel. So very, very dense audio channel wise, but again, very simple from an RF management standpoint.
So, my next question is like, you have a product that it's or products that seem to address just about every type of person that might come into contact with them.
We
Um,
sure hope.
is that hard to make sure that you're addressing all of these different types of potential users, integrators with every new product? Like, that has to be difficult. How do you do that?
Well, so we've been doing it since 1945, right? I mean, long and the short of it, that's 80 years of industrial and institutional knowledge within the company. And we started with wireless microphones in particular in 1957, building them for broadcast, building them for situations where they don't get to fail. And with some of the earliest large deployments we did in the early 80s on Broadway, very difficult areas and very difficult environments. So it's almost a century of working those hard problems, making it as reliable as possible, and then we like to start with the top of the pyramid, the biggest, most expensive problems, and then once we have solved them, trickle those down into more and more and more affordable solutions. So rather than working on the cheap stuff and trying to scale it up, we're taking the premium products and moving those features down. So the higher ed gets to benefit from all the things that we've learned trying to solve the Super Bowl.
That's awesome. No, I think that that's a great outlook for a company, great outlook for products. I love that y'all have kind of thought a bit about it that way. Wish more were. So, last question I have for you, where can people find more about Sennheiser and in the entire product portfolio? And how can people get Sennheiser products into their spaces? What's the easiest way?
So the easiest way to learn more about what we're doing is just go to Sennheiser.com. We've got it all there, and the website is just chock full of everything that we have. The best way to get it in your hands, reach out to your Almo rep. We've got a great relationship with Almo, and they would just love to put some ceiling mics in your life.
Awesome. Well, Greg, thank you so much for your time. And
Of
thanks for
course.
walking me through your portfolio of products.
Well, yes, ma'am. Anytime.
And thank you everyone for watching or listening. This has been another episode of Rants and Raves. I'm Steph Beckett, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Rave Radio. With rants and raves, you'll